come to the bold analysis, the endless supremacy battles have doomed and grounded William Ruto. Behind the scene are insider observations of things that seem not to be coming to the limelight, but it is the devil, it is the details that are actually affecting service delivery. And the president is coming out in public and has confessed that I want people to feel my power. He has also come out to brag about I'm going to take Kenya where Kibaki left it. But there are things that has emerged why supremacy war is inevitable. And to William Ruto's surprise, I have a bad news that it will not end today, because the causes of the supremacy conflicts and the fights that are going on are causes that border entitlement. It might quite take time for this to happen. I need to say that as any organization, it can never be seamless, because everyone comes on board with a specific agenda. And unlike in the campaign trail, where people escorting you to talk to Kenyans will don the yellow UDA shirts and the caps and believe that they're part of the bottom-up economic model. But when you settle down, you realize that I was alone in this. And in the fullness of time, what will actually be confirmed is that President Ruto is alone in this. The wars are not just ending. And they're not ending because we have really, the president have what is called caucusing. You know, at one point, you remember the time when Musalia Mudavadi was meeting a caucus of Western MPs. Then Rigathi Gachagua was meeting another caucus of Central MPs. There was also a Coast Caucus and the Rift Valley Caucus. And I think the president realized the red flag in it and said he did not want caucusing. But despite of that mere statement in public, caucuses have emerged. And the caucusing bit has created divided loyalty. So this caucusing has created camps. And there is Musalia Mudavadi camp, there is Rigathi Gachagua camp, there is William Ruto camp. And these camps have a sense of entitlement that one way or the other, we actually participated in putting this government in power. And they're not going to end anytime soon. You know, and that is why I'm saying that the president must be very keen. Otherwise, this is one of the things that is going to make sure that things are not going to move on. I've been looking at the issue of overlapping of powers, or rather, there are some super officers. Super officers are people who believe that their proximity to power, proximity to the highest decision-making people in the government cannot be compromised. And they would overlap in terms of reporting. Now this has created heat. This person hits that person hits that person. Just today someone was telling me about a very heated brawl that is going on in a state agency where people are actually arguing, and the problem is about whose office is to be in the second floor and the other one to be in the third floor. You know, simply because someone feels I should not be next to the other junior officers, I should be somewhere. You know, I listened to that and I was like, what? Because I was on Matatu, and I was talking to a friend who, some ex-military guy, and I was really shocked about that kind of pettiness, a situation where someone is arguing on terms of visas. And you know, I need to be very objective and say it did not start with William Ruto, because the Nation was, I actually read an article in Nation that when in the Ministry of Sports, when Kabando and Wavinya Ndeti were assistant ministers in the Ministry of Sports, they actually blamed Ellen Sambili, who was the sports CS by then, sports minister by then, that she was making decisions without their involvement. And they reported Helen Sambili to former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, by then in that grand coalition government, about them being sidelined. The same was also reported even during Uhuru Kenyatta reign. Cleophas Maili was held CS, and he blamed Nicholas Muraguri for not working with him. So this is something that has been there. Same to Charity Ngilu and Mwangi Kiunjuri. When Charity Ngilu was a CS and Mwangi Kiunjuri was assistant minister, the same issue also came up. So that is why I'm saying, if this is not yet handled, and I want to be very frank with the president, one of the biggest blunders that was made is, I think Uhuru transition was mismanaged. It was not mismanaged by Uhuru himself, it was mismanaged by William Ruto. Why? You know, there was a lot of restructure in the organization in terms of state departments being moved here and there. You know, there's some like corporations. For example, let's just give one, and that's to show you the example of things that happened, where Kenya Ports Authority was taken from Treasury back to transport. Of course, it was supposed to be under transport. So that one example of restructuring. So that affected a couple of things, and even the chain of command kinda became a problem, because principal secretaries are torn between, should I serve CAS or the minister? CAS is reporting to office daily against the law, because there was a court case that was lodged challenging the legality of that office, and they're in office illegally. Now, according to the hierarchy of power, it is supposed to be CS, then CAS, then principal secretary. But then principal secretaries realize that some of people that have been taken there as CAS have more entitlement, because they believe their proximity with William Ruto, the president, or rather they were in the campaign trail with President William Ruto, and they're not in the table. So that has created some of the environment, part of an environment that you are seeing. I don't know, even if you are to appoint CAS, why has it become difficult to have done it what Uhuru did? Because during Uhuru way, there was no transition problems. There was no problems between coordination between the CAS, the CS, and the principal secretaries. But that has created quite a big problem. Lastly, Ruto is grounded by election enablers. His election enablers are people, organizations, and investors who think and believe that we enabled your win. These are people that maybe backroom deals were signed on how you are going to get contract X and get tender Y and succeed in some specific environments. But then without, and so that group has emerged and is now raising eyebrows. Mary Wambui was taken to some, I think, information sector, the communications authority, if I'm not wrong. Free Karaoke was given some jobs, some things for licensing board, something. And quite a number. There is the spree of revoking Uhuru Kenyatta's appointments to appoint other people is largely being influenced. The people that are lobbying is being done using different formats. For example, Mary Chebukati, the wife to former IBC chair of Chebukati, is equally qualified to be a commissioner in the Commission of Revenue Allocation. She's equally qualified. But Because that position is competitive position that is appointive, which is a prerogative of the president to to appoint her, then you cannot underestimate the fact that she negotiated her way through. And nothing wrong with that. So this article that I was reading that is talking about how coordination between William Ruto has 13 offices, 38 functions, and 19 institutions. Rigathi Gachagua has 6 offices, 8 mandates. Musalia, 4 key institutional positions, and ministries, 21, excluded that of state law office led by Attorney General. So we are going to continue this. It's going to be here for long. It will take. But if the president is going to take caution, then this is one of the reasons why, if there is a plan that is to be achieved, that plan may never see light of the day. That's my bold. And of course, I was just looking at how the supremacy war is actually affecting service delivery in President William Ruto's administration.